I'll tell you a story, and I can name a name.
Okay.
When I was at KDF, and y'all know how, like, when there's a concert, what they would do is assign us to take the winners backstage to meet the artist.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And
yeah.
I was assigned to Skid Row, and they were brand new. Probably what around 18 in Life that hit right about that time.
Yeah.
Uh, which I think what they had 2 or 3 hits at the time, but they were pretty massive. And so I was assigned to the listeners, take them backstage, and the listeners are all excited as they would be, and I'm excited for them. I'd never met Skid Row. So uh, we're back there, and so as I go to introduce them, Sebastian Bach, the lead singer, I introduce him to the artist. I mean, to the winners. They're like standing there, all excited, and he goes, "Who the f are you?" And like just screamed it at him and at me. And again, it's like I get my feelings hurt, and so I'm trying to cover for him and make sure that they still meet him, but they're like crushed.
Oh my
But
goodness.
yeah, that Sebastian Bach. I never played another Skid Row
Yeah.
record on my show.
In fact, we like to see him go to Skid Row after that
Yeah,
reaction.
What a jerk in front of listeners. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, he would have never remembered it. Let's put it that way.
Welcome to a podcast about music and entertainment. Before it all goes down the disposal, this is Circling the Drain.
And welcome back into Circling the Drain. And of course, you have the three J's, me, Johnny Bozeman, better known as Johnny B to some people. Right next to me, Jay Harper.
I know it feels weird being right next to you, Johnny
Yes, it
B.
does.
I know, yeah. I'm always just gazing lovingly into your eyes from across the table, but for this one, get to be right next to my pal.
Yes, we do.
here.
There you
Yes,
go.
we do. And right over there, brother Jim McCarthy.
Yes. Thank
Well-
you, sir.
Well, I decided we've had too many. We needed to seriously dilute the ugly in this room.
Right.
So we invited somebody that has been big in Nashville, number one consistently with the rock station I love, WKDF. She was a big fixture of that. But she's not only done that, I can't even go over everything this young lady has done over the years because her resume would take up the entire show. But joining us, she's not in studio, and I don't blame her. I don't know if I'd hang out with us either. But Shannon McCombs is with us. Shannon, how are you doing?
Hey, I love that introduction. Can you say that one more time?
I will. Anytime you want.
No, thank you. That was very nice. Thank you. I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Well, any better, we'd have to take medicine. We're doing,
Well, I'm enjoying.
we're rated
Go
PG
ahead.
for pretty good.
Shannon, you have you've made history here. You are actually our first female guest on Circling
Am
the
I
Drain
really?
podcast. So yes, we
Well, I am glad to be circling.
yes. Huh?
Well, and the thing is, Shannon, a lot of people don't know. We always talk about our heroes in radio. Shannon was definitely one of my heroes because when I first moved to Nashville, I fell in love with WKDF. It was a great rock station, had a great morning man, Carl P. Mayfield. And then eventually this young lady came into the picture. What was that? Was it 1985 when you came on?
I did actually. I believe it was the very end of '85 is when I moved to Nashville because I moved here on New Year's Eve.
Oh, wow.
New Year's Eve. I was my boyfriend at the time helped me pack a truck, and we borrowed a truck from someone and made two hauls to move my stuff to Nashville.
And you came from Kentucky, right?
I came from Kentucky. Yeah,
Kentucky
came
girl.
from Kentucky.
Blue Kentucky girl.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
right, bluegrass.
Yeah. But yeah, when you came on KDF, I was telling these guys, man, you were so good. And you were number one consistently with the radio station as far as ratings go. And the thing I loved about you, you weren't, a lot of female rock DJs were kind of rough, but you just had a sweet voice and a sweet disposition, but you also had this rock edge to you, which made you unique to me. And that's why I loved listening to you. And I know I gurmed you to death at a party.
I thought I was gurming you. But thank you for saying all that. I think, when I came to Nashville, it was maybe a lot of that was just me being green. I moved to Nashville, to the big city, so to speak, and I was around a lot of things and a lot of substances that I had never seen or known of. But that was it was a learning curve for me,
Yeah.
to just live in the big city, really. I was Mary Tyler Moore there for a while, it seemed like.
Even through the hat in the air, didn't you?
Yeah.
So, Shannon, did you come to Nashville with a radio job in hand, or did you come here and hope to find one?
I found one. Bill Pugh. Did y'all ever know Bill? Mr. Bill?
No, the name.
He did the show, The Wax Museum. He was the program director at KDF at the time. And there was an opening. The overnight lady that was working, Erin, was putting in her resignation. She was leaving the station, and a friend of mine, Steve Kraft, you may have known him. He worked in radio in the city for a long time. He called me and he said, "There's going to be an opening at KDF." He said, "If you put your resume in, you could probably get an interview pretty quick." And I did, reluctantly, because I was trying to get into country music. And so I did, and I got it. Drove down here. I remember the day I drove down here and all the construction, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, I wanted to live in Nashville, but I was getting the firsthand experience of traffic on the way down, coming from Southern Kentucky. But I got the job. I actually took a cut in pay and took a worse shift to move to Nashville because I was programming a station in Kentucky and making very little money. So I moved to Nashville and made less money and then worked overnights.
I think that we all
my
did
way
that.
literally for the bottom.
Well, I think we all did
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, I was told
no regrets.
I was told, same here, because I was told by a program director here. He said, you won't make very much money here because everybody wants to live here, and most people want to be artists. They want to, try to get a record deal, so they'll do any kind of work for any kind of money. And I got the same spiel. But how long did you stay with? Because you were with KDF until like what, 90? I'm trying to say 94.
4-ish.
Yeah,
something like that. That was the first time I got fired. I've been fired from KDF twice, I believe. They did a staff change and format change, and they started playing that's when the newer rock from, I'm trying to think of, like Nirvana was, that whole wave was coming through, and they changed formats. So we all kind of got fired.
Well, you're not radio until you do get fired.
That's right. I'm proud of it. Own it. Yeah. Own it.
Well, you worked with a lot of like Carl P. What was he like to work with?
Loaded question. You just catch him on a good day, I guess, and you could have a good day with him.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I know a guy that used to produce his show, and because I used to love to listen to Carl P. It was a fun show, but he said, he said he was he could be rough. He could be rough.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stories that people that worked in that room with him. When I went back to KDF for country, it was Carl that initially called me and asked me to come back, and to do the midday show. But that all kind of fell apart. I think Carl was going through a lot of health issues at the time, and it made it hard on everybody around him.
Yeah.
So.
And you also worked with Slats too, did you not?
Oh man, yeah.
I love that. Now, his show is great too.
I believe he retired from radio just recently.
Lucky guy.
I'm in touch with him. Yeah, and I don't know. Good for him if he wants to retire.
Exactly.
I think I will stay in it until I get pushed out of it. So,
Well, I got pushed out, so that's why I'm doing this, and I appreciate you coming on here. Now, you did go with country, but was that what kind of pushed you to go into what you're doing now? You're doing more with country music than you ever have, really.
I am. And for a long time, up until about a year ago, I was writing a lot of rock stories that were going out for morning show prep. And so I love that because
Yeah.
love my rock and roll. But now what I'm doing is I've been doing a syndicated radio show for about 9, 10 years now that goes out weekly. And we're syndicated through CDX.
Yeah, with Dana
So
Williams, right?
well, Dana does air the show.
Yeah.
For a while, Dana and I were doing a live show together, and then it got to be where it was just hard to get to him the time of day he needed to record it because, Diamond Rio had they're on the road a lot, and I was always flying in there by the seat of my pants to do that, and then so I started recording my part, and then got that syndicated. But Dana he airs it. He airs it in his show. It's a news show that I do each
Yeah,
week.
Shannon's Country News.
Yeah, that's it. And then I'm working on a project I'm really excited about. It's a Bill Anderson documentary,
Oh, yeah.
and they've hired me to do the interviews for it. So, and Bill, everybody knows and loves Bill, so
Whispering Bill.
it's really yes. He's been writing songs for wait, I added this up since the 50s.
Wow.
Think of it. He's been on the radio since the 50s, and he is still like we got a recording session the other day of him, not a recording session, but a writing session. We shot a writing session with him the other day, and it's he's just constantly working. We interviewed Billy Bob Thornton back a couple of weeks ago for it.
I love him.
I know. I'd never interviewed him before, but he is an interesting guy.
Yes, he
loves
is.
Bill Anderson.
Yes, he is. And also Billy Bob. A lot of people don't know this, but Billy Bob likes to sing and has a band.
That's a band.
Yeah. And in fact, we had him on the Phil Valentine show one time, and they had this song that all it said was, "There's no whiskey drinkers," something like that. There's no whiskey drinkers in heaven. I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the song, but that's all it said.
That was the only lyric.
That was it. And we played it, and I was kind of doing it as a joke, and they were really turned on. We played that. They said, "Oh man, that's our favorite tune. I'm glad you guys picked that." And I'm thinking, yeah, but I didn't pick it because
You never know what's going to happen when you bring somebody in the studio, do you?
boy, that's the truth. That's the truth. And Phil was not supposed to ask him, and Phil was notorious for this. I don't think you're notorious for this. But Phil would always ask people things that he was told not to ask them about. I know you don't do that, do you?
Well, only because I want to work with them again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because that will put you on that list, and you never work with those people again, nor the publicist.
That's right. That's right. In fact, he did that to Linda Ronstadt.
He did?
Oh, yes. Linda Ronstadt put out this with me before she came on. This was on music radio. We were doing music radio, but Phil was not supposed to ask Linda Ronstadt about Jerry Brown. And of course, midway through the interview, Phil goes, "Well, so how's Jerry Brown?" Oops. Yeah. Oh, it got nicey.
Oh.
But
and that was the last time he interviewed her, right?
Yeah, it was. It was the last time she came on the show. But you also co-hosted, I thought this was really cool that you co-hosted the Red Carpet Buddy Holly Birthday Bash. And what year was that?
Did. Oh my gosh. Well, let me think. Turn of the century, right around there.
Wow. And somebody told me that Paul McCartney asked you to host this. Was that correct?
Yep. His people had asked me to do it. They told me it was per his request, and I don't know how that happened. I was never told how that happened, how he had seen me, but I was doing a lot of internet stuff early on.
Yeah.
And this was early. This was so early on for internet that we did a live. It was a live stream. For Live on the Net was the company that had approached me to do it. And it was so early on that, you had to have the best of the best equipment to even see the show.
Oh, wow.
You know, you remember those days?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, when the internet was great. But it was really a cool event. I went to New York and it was in the Rose Ballroom, I believe is what it was called. And I don't know if Paul McCartney still owns the Buddy Holly publishing. Do y'all? That's back when he owned the
I think
publishing.
he still does.
Does he?
I think
He
so.
used to he used to do a Buddy Holly birthday bash every year somewhere in the world, and this one happened to be in New York. And so my job was to interview everybody coming in on the red carpet, and then Paul McCartney was stage hosting, and I never, believe it or not, I hosted with him. They'd shoot me, and then they'd shoot him, and then I would pitch to him on stage, and he would pitch to me back out in the audience. But I never met him. Never officially was introduced.
Bummer.
Yeah, that stinks.
That does stink. Makes you like John Lennon
But
more.
But we co-hosted a show. We co-hosted a show together. I'd be in the audience, and it was a real small room, real small stage, and I'd toss it back to him, or he'd toss it back to me, and but we never actually physically met.
So-
Although I will tell you, this was strange. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
What were you
no,
gonna ask?
I'm sorry. Please continue.
No, I was just going to say it was the only time I was ever briefed on doing an interview on how to approach an artist. And the publicist set me down before the show and said, he is to be called Sir Paul McCartney. This was just right after he was knighted. And he gave me a list of questions not to ask, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
And then since it was about Buddy Holly, they didn't want to talk about the Beatles. So they wanted me to stay away from the Beatles talk, keep it all on Buddy Holly, which I understand because that's the event, and it would have been a 2-minute interview to celebrate Buddy Holly, and they did not want the attention taken off of Buddy Holly.
Wow, I can understand that.
On the red
Yeah, I can
carpet,
understand.
who were some of the folks in attendance that you did in fact get to speak with?
This is a long time ago. I remember making a list and keeping it somewhere. I remember the one person that impressed me the most was Buddy Holly's widow, and having a chance to talk to her. But it was a lot of pop stars.
Mhm.
It was a lot of people that were big pop stars at the time that were doing the carpet. I don't even recall all the names.
Wow. And you've also, I mean, like I said, your career, I mean, it just goes on and on. I mean, you have worked heavily with CMT, TNN. I mean, it just goes on and on. And so
I can't keep a job. I can't keep a job.
That's all of us, Shannon. But I was going to ask you, like, as far as country artists go, what were the more interesting ones that you've talked to that have stuck with you as far as interviews go?
Right off the bat, I think of Eddie Arnold.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Loved
what a
Eddie
gentleman.
Arnold.
What a gentleman.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly. That's the best way to describe him. Have you interviewed him before?
Yeah, well, I had met the man and chatted with him briefly, and just what a warm, genuine guy who acted like, he knew you. It was just, old school Nashville, just a gentleman.
And soft-spoken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
always-
just like he
I-
sang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You feel like, he could sing effortlessly, But I thought he always used the word lovely. You look lovely today. You know how that accent. But I always appreciated him when he'd come into the studio. When I was at XM Radio, we signed on the air before the Hall of Fame opened downtown, and our studio was inside the Hall of Fame. So anytime the artist would come visit, the Hall of Fame artist, a lot of them would drop by the studio, and we had an open door policy. They're in the studio, and once they stopped in and saw that nobody, was going to, ask them all those questions you were talking about, but they would continue to stop in, and he was one of them. He'd be in the Hall of Fame, and you'd see him outside the studio, and like, okay, Eddie Arnold's coming in. So I love that. The older artist at the time, trying to think who else would come by. We had actually what pops to mind was he wasn't the older artist, but John Conlee would come in and visit with us. I remember John coming in one day, and I was literally underneath the board fixing something because I had a toolbox.
Yeah, he could probably relate
Yeah.
to that. I mean, he's an ex-radio guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
Well, XM was based out of DC, so we did not have an engineer in town all the time. So when something went wrong, I usually was the one that would call and say, "Hey, this is the problem we have." And it got to be, I heard you guys talking about crazy radio stories
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it was the last episode or not, but I thought, oh gosh, this is one of my crazy radio stories. XM bought me a toolkit, and it was like a huge toolkit because they knew I would do it. And
Yeah.
I would literally go under the board and adjust things or go upstairs where the main equipment was and get us on the air, whatever. It wasn't anything major, and I'd take my phone and a flashlight and call an engineer in DC, and he would talk me through something. And that's it. It was just such a mess when XM first went on the air because we were kind of we were an afterthought in Nashville. So
Well, until you kind of introduced them to the Nashville community, did you not? The country music. Yeah.
that was partially my job. Yeah, to kind of convince. If you remember back then, radio was so scared of XM, of not knowing what it was going to be. Stations were turning them down. I mean, artists were turning them down because stations were telling them, that's competition.
Yeah, you do XM, you won't be doing R.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Won't play your stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can picture
So
Jan Jeffries doing that.
It was really hard to begin with.
Yeah.
It was really hard to begin with because, normally you would go through promotions department, right?
Right.
To talk to the artist and on radio, but I ended up getting there. It was such a problem that I started working with publicists. And so going through the publicists that I knew, and they started doing XM satellite radio. So I ended up booking everybody through publicist instead of promotions people, and therefore we got the artists that we needed.
Wow.
Yeah. Smart way to go.
And
So-
you've worked with Fanfare, which I guess now is what, CMA
Yeah,
Music
CMA
Fest.
Fest,
But
yeah.
you've been working with them for
Yeah.
since 1990. What is some like?
Long time.
See, I've never been a big fan of them changing. I always liked the name Fanfare. I don't know why. I just can't get my head around
Yeah.
CMA Music Fest. It just doesn't have the same, I guess, homespun feel that I thought Fanfare did. And Fanfare,
Yeah.
Can you tell us some of the interesting stories, maybe from some Fanfare days?
By the way, I'm with you. I always wish they had worked the words fanfare into the new title.
Yeah, I agree.
It just, if nothing else, but for tradition.
Yes.
But yet, over the years, I'm trying to think, it was maybe the first and second year that I was at XM, we did shows during Fanfare. Well, I think one year was Fanfare, the next year was CMA Fest. That's about the time it switched over.
Yeah.
But we did shows in the Ford Theater, and then we also did shows. Loretta Lynn let us borrow her bus, and we put this big sign on it that said XM Satellite Radio, and we set up interviews on the bus all day. One day we'd do the bus, and one day we'd do interviews inside at the Ford Theater. But what we would do is overlap the interviews so that the artist would overlap. And so we would coordinate it in a way that, artists that didn't know each other, possibly, maybe put an older artist with a newer artist, and
Yeah.
then they would meet and they would talk and whatever. But I remember one of my favorites was we had Charlie Louvin, which I loved. He was in, and we scheduled on top of him, like at the end of his time and the beginning of it was a new artist by the name of Dierks Bentley. And they had met, but they had such a great time on the stage, and just watching them. And Dierks, I don't know if you know him or not, but he's such he knows country music, and he loves older country music, and he was such a a fan of the Louvin brothers and stuff. So we knew that, and that's why we scheduled it. But we did that sort of thing, which just made for an awesome fanfare.
Very cool. You have a question?
Well, in terms of the interviews and the folks that you've worked with over the years, I mean, we've all had them. The awkward interview where
the awkward.
Yeah. Like, oh my gosh. When you ask somebody to tell us about so-and-so and you get the, yep, kind of answer. I mean, do any awkward interviews come to mind other than this one? This
is not awkward.
Good.
Well, I heard you guys talk about people yelling at you in the studio. I've had that happen to me before in an interview. And I'm trying to think which one to tell you about first. I was on the air one day at XM, and I probably shouldn't say his name because we've made friends since then. But I was on the air at XM, and if you were ever in that studio, it was a small studio, and the equipment half worked. Like I was telling you, we had a lot of equipment problems, and this artist, songwriter, was there, really well-known artist, lots of hits, and we're doing the interview, and he brings me in a CD of something that hadn't been played on the radio yet, and I popped it in the CD. Which, by the way, you guys will get this. The CD player was back here.
Yes. Yeah,
right. And did not start from the board.
Yeah, not remotely.
So to start it,
yeah,
right. To start it, I'd have to roll back, pop it, and then roll back in. Yes, this was XM satellite radio. But so I started it, and it started skipping, and this artist jumped up on the other side of the board, scared the living daylights out of me, slammed his hands on the table and said, "You are making a fool out of me." And I was petrified because first of all, I'd never seen rage from this person before.
Wow.
And when he did, there were that was a showcase studio, so there was a big window, and people were watching. And someone told the security guard, and the security guard came in to check to make sure I was okay.
Wow.
Because, there was a security guard always on hand there at the Hall of Fame. But I immediately, when the song ended, I ended the interview. Nice to see you. Good luck with everything.
Yeah.
But,
and we'll have the police escort you out.
Yeah. Was that actually on the air that he did that? When you guys live?
No, I was live. His song was skipping live, but him yelling at me was not live. So,
damn it, you should have hit the mic.
Yeah, I was ready to. Here's the thing: when that happens to me, maybe I'm just so tenderhearted, but I immediately, it hurt my feelings. Like I didn't. Some people might stand up and yell back, but I got my feelings hurt. Plus, I was scared because he was bigger than me, and I'm looking up at him, towering over me, and he's yelling at me. So
was it the CD or the player? I mean, if it was the player,
that's not your fault.
Did you get it fixed? I mean,
there were so many there. We literally had so many problems there. I assume it was the CD player.
All right.
But things happen like that. Y'all know that.
Oh yeah.
Wait, you mentioned not wanting to name names, but who was it?
Yeah, who was it?
Yeah, we really want to know.
I'll tell you a story, and I can name a name.
Okay.
When I was at KDF, and y'all know how, like, when there's a concert, what they would do is assign us to take the winners backstage to meet the artist.
Oh yeah.
And I was assigned to Skid Row, and they were brand new, probably. Around 18 in Life, that hit right about that time.
Yeah.
Which I think they had 2 or 3 hits at the time, but they were pretty massive. And so I was assigned to the listeners, take them backstage, and the listeners are all excited as they would be, and I'm excited for them. I'd never met Skid Row. So we're back there, and so as I go to introduce them, Sebastian Bach, the lead singer, I introduce him to the artist, to the winners. They're like standing there, all excited. And he goes, "Who the F are you?" And like just screamed it at him and at me. And again, it's like I get my feelings hurt. And so I'm trying to cover for him and make sure that they still meet him, but they're like crushed.
Oh, my goodness.
But yeah, that Sebastian Bach. I never played another Skid Row record on my show.
In fact, we like to see him go to Skid Row after that reaction.
What a jerk in front of listeners. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, he would have never remembered it. Let's put it that way.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But from what I heard, he went around doing that a lot, and I, didn't take long that they were literally on Skid Row. So, but I think he did that to a lot of radio stations, and people got tired of it.
Yeah, you would think the record reps, and I've been one of those, would no longer, would no longer agree to bring, look, you don't want to send listeners backstage with this group. I'm surprised they continue to let them do that.
Yeah, well, they probably stopped it after a while.
Yeah.
Didn't you ever have an experience like that, or did you?
Well, I mean, no. I mean, all of the artists that I, work with at MCA were, country artists that were pretty gracious, and I never really encountered that. Now, in my radio days, going backstage, I had a couple of artists that you could tell, and I kind of got it. They're tired. And we saw them after the show. They just wanted to pack up and get the heck out of there. I get it. Randy Owen was that way, just really disinterested, Mark Herndon and Jeff Cook and Teddy Gentry couldn't have been any nicer, for my, bringing listeners back when I was in radio.
Yeah.
But being a record rep, I had really good experiences with just about all my artists, aside from Lee Greenwood showing up in a Speedo, meeting artists after a show. That was, talk about awkward. That was a little awkward.
That's a bad image.
Yeah.
I'm reluctant to ask.
Yeah,
why?
Yeah, flip-flops and a Speedo backstage at the Star. Oh gosh, it was in Maryville, Indiana. The Star something theater, but Star Plaza Theater, Maryville, Indiana. Yeah.
Was he a swimmer?
No, man. I talked about that on another podcast,
I don't know if I asked that.
Yeah, it was the Oak Ridge Boys and Lee Greenwood. And I met listeners backstage, and Lee shows up with a towel and a Speedo and flip-flops. Hey, how are you? How are you? And, the women in particular are like petrified,
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So that was a little, but Lee couldn't have been any nicer. He was a promotion guy's dream other than that. But, he would call anybody and everybody. Hey, I could get your record on if you would just call this PD. And that man, he was like, what's their number? He was great.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like country
you
acts.
worked with Vince Gill, though, didn't you? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you'll go ahead.
No, I had left MCA before Vince got there.
Okay.
Yeah. Never got to work with Vince.
He worked with Steve Earle now.
A lot.
Yeah, he worked with Steve Earle. Yeah. That had to be interesting.
Yeah, Steve and I are still pals, but yeah. But, did you say you came to town in 85?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's when I got here. Yeah, that's when I got here.
Was it
Same
really?
time. Oh, yeah. I remember tuning into, KDF, and there you were. So, absolutely. So, yeah, we got here same time.
I tried to get a job over at WSM. I just didn't have the experience for it. It was a daytime job that was open. And that's when I was, really trying to get into Nashville. And I remember walking through the studios, and that's the first time I ever met Kathy Martindale. I've told her this story, but she was on the air, and of course, in '85 there weren't many women on the radio.
That's true.
Right.
In fact, I was turned down different times from different stations saying we don't put women on the air during daytime hours unless you're doing news. And so again, a different world. I know, a different world. But I remember seeing Kathy Martindale. She was doing afternoons, and when I walked by her studio, thinking, it's possible.
Yeah,
it's possible. And that to me was like a really light bulb moment. And it, in today's 2025 world, it might be hard for somebody to understand who didn't live through those years, but it was it's possible. A woman can work daytime hours on the radio, at a big station.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions. I mean, I'm glad you brought it up. I mean, did you run into that glass ceiling as a woman trying to make her way, especially in male-dominated Nashville back back in our biz, radio, record labels, etc.
I think that was just the way it was at the time. I didn't even know that you could force your way in, or so to speak. I just knew that's the way it was, and I kept trying. Do y'all remember back when Cody McLeod was on Kix 104?
Yes.
And then Mary Glenn Lassiter was
Mary Glenn, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I was going to ask you a question about Mary Glenn, because in fact you can find it on YouTube. But there was a time when you were on KDF and you were talking about that it was so good to be in the same building as Mary Glenn Lassiter.
Yes.
And then some listener calls in and said that Mary Glenn Lassiter said, you know what, the difference is between KDF and our station and the girls on KDF. She said, teeth. And you said, I think I'm going to have to go down the hall and talk to Mary Glenn about this.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, Mary Glenn I still have her up as a hero of.
Oh, she's great.
Yes, she is. And but when she was working mornings with Coyote, at the same time, Katie Haas was doing overnights. And I used to stay up and record Katie because that's the only time I could hear women on the radio out of Nashville. And so I'd listen to Coyote in the morning, but stay up late night and listen to Katie. But that's another, I looked up to both of them because they were in Nashville and able to get on the air. And, again, Katie had a full show, but it wasn't daytime.
No. And I'm so glad that things have changed, because there are so many women, you've named a lot of them, that I thought were just fantastic broadcasters, like Mary Glenn, yourself, Kathy Martindale.
Did you ever work with Diana Lynn Bracey?
No, but I loved her. She's on SIX.
Yeah,
Nice.
And she worked with Coyote at Y10.
I didn't know.
Yeah, but Diana passed here a couple of years ago. She was such a great lady.
Oh, and had a great voice.
Yeah. Diana and I got to be pretty good friends, and was just crushed when I heard she had passed.
Me too. I heard that when I was at the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame dinner, and they announced her name, and I was just crushed. I mean, everybody at my table just, hands went to the heart because we had no idea.
Yeah.
I didn't know her, but I loved listening to her because she would say whatever was on her mind.
Oh yeah,
Probably
and she did
got
that
her in trouble.
Well, she did that in real life too, because I worked with her at WLAC, and oh yeah, she was saucy.
Yeah.
That's about the best word I can use for her. She was a great person.
Yeah, she would just say whatever. I love that about her.
Oh, me too. There's another one on KDF too that I really like, Patty Murray, and we lost her too. What a great talent she was.
She was in a car accident not long after she had left KDF.
Yeah.
Her and her family moved to Florida. And I can't remember. Her husband was in the car but survived. But I think she was the only one in their car that passed.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was really something else. She was one to give advice. I remember Patty telling me one of the things, always at our remotes, they'd always give us those KDF shirts to wear. This is one of those things women of today probably wouldn't understand, but back then there was only one size and it was all for men, right?
Yeah.
They didn't make women T-shirts. So anything you put on, you look like you were wearing a tent. And so they'd always give you this large to wear out in public, and Patty would never wear them. And I remember her telling me one day, she goes, "Don't wear them. You don't have to, and they make you look awful. Just don't wear them." So it's just like one of those weird things to say, but at the time, everybody had to wear KDF shirts to remotes.
Oh, yeah.
But she wasn't going to do it.
Well, Phil wouldn't either. We used to, when we took a Get Well card, it was an oversized card to Amy Grant. And they demanded that we all wear our station shirts. We look like pizza delivery boys.
Yeah.
And Phil refused. And I thought, you mean I didn't have to wear this shirt? He said, "No, man, don't wear that stuff." But I got to ask you, we're talking about clothing, and somebody asked me to ask you this, and I hope it doesn't get me in trouble with you because we have a good relationship. But somebody asked me to ask you about an interview with Travis Tritt, and it involved underwear. Oh, I see the look on the face.
Yeah.
I may have run my.
That was a long time ago. That's back when videos were so big.
Yes.
And it was something about one of his videos, and the producers, I believe, had asked me to ask that because they thought I would.
Yeah.
If they provoked me a little bit, and asked me what he was wearing under the sheets. And he said nothing. He said, in fact, I'm not wearing underwear now. I'm like, okay, what you know.
Yeah, moving right along.
Too much information.
Yes.
It doesn't make Lee Greenwood look as bad.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes producers would give me things to say because they would know that I would probably go out there and say it.
Yeah.
Probably more so now than then, but then I just got embarrassed.
I'm sorry about that. Leave it to me.
That was for an old TNN show. I remember that now.
Yeah. Somebody asked me to ask you that, so don't blame me.
Okay.
Okay, I appreciate it.
No, it's out there, so hey, I have to own it, right?
Yeah, you do.
I've asked hey, I will be the first to tell you that I have asked some pretty darn stupid questions. But sometimes you get some pretty cool answers.
Yeah, you do.
Right.
And you get the truth sometimes.
Which one comes to mind off the top of your head? You recall?
Of stupid questions?
Because we've all done it.
Oh, yeah.
That one is a topper, man. They've had me, I remember them suggesting I ask Aaron Tippin his measurements, and I did, and he was great with it, because that's back when he was really working out.
Yeah, kind of the bodybuilder, right?
Yeah, and he, I guess you're proud of your measurements, and he was ripped. And I can't remember his measurements now, but I just remember the embarrassment of those words coming out of my mouth. And it was television too, so
So I got to ask you this too, because you are a cat owner, and I know of one named Cheeto. Is that right?
Yeah, they own me. Yes.
Yeah, and I know sometimes they come in on interviews and stuff. They're not going to do that today.
Only because the door's closed. I don't know if you've heard him, but he's been talking at the door.
Oh, has he really? He's going, hey, man, it's my time. How many cats do you
Cheeto Willie
own?
Mae.
How many cats?
There are three.
Wow.
I meant to only have two, but when my uncle passed away, his cat did not have a home and ended up in a shelter in Nashville. And so I called the family and I said, look, if you will go get that kitty cat, I will take care of her. And so she's been with me this whole time too. So I have three.
So we got to love you for that, for rescuing a cat. I love people like that.
Thank you. All my cats are rescues.
Yeah, so is mine. I have one 14 years now. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So what's the story? Did your cat come to your door and say, let me in?
No, nothing like that. I had a friend, this was in Columbia, South Carolina, when I was working there. Had a friend who had rescued a cat and from the shelter, and was told, well, it's part of a litter, and they're going to euthanize these cats if something, Anyway, so once I heard that, down to the shelter I went, and I adopted the cat, and I've had her ever since. So like I say,
Good for you.
About 14 years now. But I'm embarrassed. I named her a name that I'm embarrassed to admit. I named her Pita, P-I-T-A, because at the time she was a pain in the,
That's where he's going.
Yeah, and it was a joke, okay? It was just a joke, but it kind of stuck. But she's tabby Siamese, so she's, pretty cat with the blue eyes, like a Siamese eyes. And everybody thinks that she's named after pita bread, because she's kind of brown. So I don't really have to explain where the name came from too often. But anyway, yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Cats' names don't usually make sense. Cheeto's name is because he came to my house with the name Cheeto, and I thought he needs more than that. And I thought of Willie Mays because I'm a baseball fan. And do you remember the Screaming Cheeto Willies?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That band?
Yeah. God, I hadn't thought of that.
I kept
me
thinking,
either.
It kind of sounds like the Screaming Cheeto Willies.
Oh, yeah.
Cheeto Willie Mays.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, see, I'm jealous of you guys because I used to own cats, but I can't anymore because I have such a horrible allergy to pet dander. I can't have any pets. But I used to have a black cat. I loved him. His name was Angus. I named him Angus because he was black. So I know that's an interesting story, and y'all can't.
I have an interesting story about. Remember the restaurant Black Angus?
Yes, I do.
When I worked in Vegas, it had a big sign on the side of the the restaurant that would light up at night, and people would make a regular thing.
I know where you're going.
Out of like firing BBs at the G. I don't know. Just funny story. Completely different tangent, but why not bring it up?
Only in Vegas, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
among other things.
Hey, John,
that story didn't stay in Vegas.
Oh, there you go. It's only in Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm going to help you out with that cat thing, John.
Okay, help me.
I am horribly allergic to cats.
Are you really?
I am. I take allergy medication.
Well, see, I do too, but it doesn't.
It wouldn't help, right?
No.
Just had to throw that in there.
I'm a bad one. Yeah, that's what a lot of people can't understand because the people get so upset with me if I, because what it does, it sends me to the basically emergency rooms. I can't.
So it's like anaphylactic.
Everything closes up. I can't breathe.
That's not good. Have you tried Flonase?
Yeah.
It didn't do it.
Nothing really does. Some people have suggested allergy shots, but those are too much. So I just choose to. We have a lot of wildlife around the house, so that's what I choose to. That's our pets, the deer and the
And from what
turkey.
I hear about you, John, there's a lot of wildlife in your house, too.
Well, we won't go there. And I don't wear Speedos.
Put the music on for that.
But I do wear underwear, so there you go.
Today.
Now, too, you used to work with Kix Brooks, who I love. We got to work with him when we worked with Cumulus over there, and he did the countdown show over there too. But I know you worked on that show as well.
I did. I love Kix, and I have told him this over and over. Best boss I've ever had. I produced his syndicated countdown, and they were changing producers, and he had asked me to come in. Or it was someone within his company did, because I'd only known at that point Kix through interviews and up until then. But I produced it, and then we'd worked together a couple of weeks, and I said, he needs to be writing this show with me, because I was producing and writing.
Yeah.
Because it was him anyway. It was his words. What I'd write. But so he ended up co-writing the show. I basically would get the ideas of what he wanted to talk about, and then I would write it all up, and we would record it every week. That was a really good experience working with him.
Oh, I bet. He's such a great guy. And I got to tell you this story, but
He is.
When he was doing it at Cumulus, he was setting up the studio, and he wanted to bring in this couch. It was like a leopard covered. I called it the Ginger Lynn couch. That's what it looked like. But it was really
I
body.
remember that couch.
Yeah, you remember that. So they had to take out a window.
I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
Yeah, they had to take out a window and spend all this money and bring it into his studio. I thought, man, to have power like that, I want that.
It'll happen.
That's when I believe that show. Yeah, there you go. I believe that show was ABC then.
Yes, it
because
was.
they had a lot of money back then. It seemed like they were throwing it around pretty good.
Yeah, they were. They even when they moved the show out to the KDF studios, I guess, where those are at, they built him a basketball court. It was NBA style, and I think he only played on it once for a photo op.
Did not know that.
I
Yeah,
remember hearing about that.
yeah. Yeah, well, I think we talked about that on another show. Yeah.
But even when I was working in the business, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You know what? Knowing Kix, he probably did that so that everybody would have a basketball court at the radio station.
That'd be cool.
He would do those sort of things. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, I used to work out of that same building with you.
Did you really?
Building.
I did not know this.
That's where we did Kix's show when I worked with him.
And we never crossed paths.
Mm-mm. No, we would be in there at different times recording. Y'all were gone.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're probably better
Usually-
off.
No.
Well, I feel bad too because I really got to truly meet Shannon at the lovely gal named Deborah Evans Price. It was at her house. She has these
writer
jam sessions and stuff, and Shannon happened to be there, and I wore Shannon out. I felt bad afterward because I just talked her ear off. Because, you don't get to meet a lot of your radio heroes. And
No, you didn't. I felt like it was like back and forth. We had lots of radio stories to share.
Yes, we did. I wish we could share them here, but, we want to keep friends. Don't we?
Have any questions for us by chance? I mean, we're right here for you.
Actually, I do.
Well, go right ahead. It's your chance. Ask us anything.
And if you guys have talked about this in your shows and I've missed it, I'm sorry. But with all these radio people right here, all four of us, tell me you have the radio dreams that I have.
Oh, absolutely.
Y'all have
All the
nightmares? Radio
Absolutely.
nightmares?
Yes.
Everybody has those if you've been in radio any amount of time at all. Yeah.
What's yours?
Well, for
They're all a
me,
little different.
it is the panic dream. Like, I started in 1978 in high school, so we're talking, turntables, cart machines, etc., reel to reels, razor blades and wax, grease pencils. But the panic dream where the record is running out. I can't find another record to put on. The cart machine has gone crazy, and there's tape everywhere, and it's just there's
you have to put another cotton ball on a pencil.
That's right. There's dead air, and the hotline is ringing, and it's a total panic dream because I can't. There's dead air, and it just wake up in a cold sweat. That's my radio panic dream.
I guess mine would be recently. I've had Phil Valentine in my dreams a lot lately. And in one, it was bizarre because he was supposed to be doing the show and he said, "I can't do the show. You're going to have to do it." And I didn't have anything prepared.
Man,
and I'm thinking, what am I going to talk about? And I was panicking. And on top of that, for some reason, I was in my underwear. Seriously. I know we've been talking about underwear here, and it was like, and where are my clothes?
Yeah, Super Talk TV, man. I gotta have clothes on.
Well, thank God cameras make everything look bigger. But anyway, what about you, Jim?
I think my nightmare would be being back in radio. Well, too soon?
Well, today you are in radio.
I know.
Yeah, too soon.
Podcasting. This is what keeps my appetite whetted. I'm good with this.
So what are some of your nightmares, Shannon, as far as radio goes?
They're really very similar, but the one I have more often, and same with you. Like I started out with the tapes and the records, and even though we've gone digital and we went to CDs a long time ago, those are never in my dreams. Never. There's never anything digital, and it's always in a large room.
Yes.
And the console is back in the corner of what looks like a warehouse, and it's dark all around me. And so when I do run out of albums or records or music, and I go out to look for it somewhere else, I can't see to find it.
Yeah.
I know it's in the room.
Mm-hmm.
I can't find it. I know it's over there somewhere, but then I'll pull something. Even if I pull something out, I can't read it because it's dark. And if I drag it into the light to play it on the air, what I run into there is like, we don't play this. It'll be a different format of music. So sometimes I find the music to play, but it's not what we play on that station. Bizarre. And then you wake up and you're like, thank God I'm awake.
Thank God that wasn't real.
Yes.
Yeah. So why do you there has to be some deep, dark, psychological reason that, everybody I talked in radio has these similar types of dreams.
Yeah, they do.
I wonder about that because do other industries have the same type of, nightmares that are so similar?
Oh, gosh.
I don't think they do because my wife never has said, about having, nightmares about stuff at work.
I don't know. Boy, oh gosh, the cash register had no money in it, and I couldn't find any change, and the credit card machine didn't work. And yeah, I don't hear stories like that, you know?
Yeah, we're just damaged people.
Maybe we've all had program directors yell at us before.
Oh, no, not program directors. No, I've never had any of them scream at me, ever. Do you have any other questions you'd like to ask us? We're kind of putting it back on you now.
You know, I can sit here and ask y'all questions all day. I'd like to know who y'all have interviewed, who you thought was the best interview you ever did.
Wow. I'll go with you, Jay.
Oh, gosh. Probably the best radio interview I ever had was Dan Seals.
Really? I love him.
Oh, gosh.
He was great.
Oh,
He was great.
He was such a down-to-earth, Texas guy. And I got to interview him on air. And he was almost, he was proud of the England Dan, John Ford Coley days, but in a way he was kind of embarrassed because he said that was not him, raised on a Texas ranch and was always a country guy. But just so friendly and down to earth. And it just broke my heart, when he passed away. I think he was 60 years of age, But there's some really, really great memories interviewing Dan.
He had such a light about him. He was a very spiritual guy, I would assume, just in the way he talked. But I did like him.
Yeah.
John?
I think,
your answer?
and it was with this podcast, I think my favorite person to interview was actually Reggie Ham.
Yeah.
I enjoyed... I for one thing, and you just said, like with Dan Seals, very spiritual guy. I got that from Reggie as well. Reggie is just the kind of person that I really, he's not a superstar, but he should be. And he's a great talent.
I was trying to figure out how to equate him the other day because he asked me to put his Patreon fundraiser Kickstarter up, and I wanted to say that he was akin to a modern day Mark Twain, but I don't know if that was the right comparison.
Yeah,
he's more of a modern day like American philosopher. You know what I mean? And I think one of the most prolific songwriters we've ever had in quite a long time.
Yeah.
He just doesn't, he needs, more credit for it.
Yeah, he does. He does. And I guess another that people would know was, and it really was a great interview, but it was Tanya Roberts. She was the last Charlie's Angel.
Yeah.
But we actually had a good interview. And plus I kind of had a crush on her at the time.
How could you not?
Yeah. So
Wasn't she Red Sonja?
Yes,
yeah.
She was. Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh, mercy.
How was, I guess the question goes to me, what's, Shannon McCombs, of course.
Well, yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, that's easy answer there.
On one of my podcasts.
If I wasn't in the room. There you go.
On one of the podcasts I produced, we interviewed one of the most influential drummers in my life, Charlie Benante, who played with Anthrax. He's played with Pantera. He's played with all sorts of bands throughout. I was a big metal guy growing up, but he was very influential on my playing. And of course, I made a fool out of myself at some point when you were talking in the previous episode we recorded. You mentioned your mother's very Italian last name. And I said, oh my gosh, that's so Irish. And I did that on the podcast, and it was met with utter crickets. He's like, oh, it's Charlie Benante. I'm like, oh, it's such a great Irish last name. He literally, it was a Zoom interview, and he literally looked at the camera like, really?
Yeah.
I'm Italian. I'm going, yeah, I'm just going to go back into my ashtray. I'll be right over here. I feel about that big.
But he didn't appreciate your sense of humor.
I don't think I delivered it right. So I blame myself the whole time. So.
I will tell you one that I forgot about was Penn Jillette, Penn and Teller.
Ben and Teller.
Yeah, I interviewed him on WLAC, and we just really hit it off.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah, he was very cool. I really enjoyed him. But you had the best interview of all, the guy that killed Bin Laden.
Well, yeah, I mean, Rob O'Neill.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where did he go after that?
Yeah. Talking about a mic drop.
You talk a resume.
Yeah.
Did he tell you details? What was What do you ask that guy?
Well, it was a client of mine. They interviewed him, but I mean, I was able to be a part of it and listen to it. But I mean, yeah, he tells the whole story about how they went in. It's well documented, but a lot of insight and wisdom came out of that podcast. Even the way he talked about becoming a Navy SEAL. And he says, even though it's displayed in the movies, how it's like this really insurmountable thing. He's like, you got to remember, people still are Navy SEAls, even though the bell is right there and you could ring it. He says, if you're going to quit tomorrow. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is a great piece of wisdom.
Yeah.
My God, it's like, I'm like, that's a song.
Yeah,
Quit
it is
tomorrow,
a song.
which I have actually already written on AI, so don't even think about it.
Darn, I was going to write it.
I think we all were, Shannon. That's the dangerous thing about Nashville. You have to be careful what you say.
I've got it well documented. I've already talked about it. I've got claim.
How is it we all ended up in Nashville and we're not writing songs that are getting big hits?
Yeah, I don't understand. And when you came to town, did you want to do that? Was that part of your...
No. It's just never been something I wanted to do.
Wow. So you're about the only one that's ever been in
I might be.
I think you are, because nearly everybody I've met in radio, they've all wanted to be an artist of some kind.
No,
it's like I tell everybody.
No, not me.
I'm completely musically untalented, but I love listening to it. So.
Well, that's the thing I love about you. You love music. And it's very obvious because, there's not many people that can interview Motley Crue in the same day and then a few hours later interview Randy Travis. But this young lady can do it. And plus she's in the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame.
Of course.
Which she should be. And that was in 2021. And I'm glad you're there because you are one of my heroes. You always have been.
Well, thank you. I have been told that you were one of the people that nominated me.
Really?
Yes, you were.
I was. Yes, I was. I have absolutely nothing to do with.
If you did, I thank you.
Well,
for nominating me.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I wanted you in
your
there.
Support on it.
I wanted you.
Thank you.
But yeah, you are. There have been a lot of women that have been my heroes in radio, but you are number one, and I mean that. Because, I love Kathy Martindale. I love Mary Glenn Lassiter. There's so many others that I love that are great, that are women. But you were always number one with me because you rock and roll, but you also country better than anybody. So
you make my day. Thank you.
Now, where can people check you out, find out more about you?
Well, I'm on Facebook, so that's probably the best shot.
And you also have
I have a website, yes,
Right.
shannonmcccombs.com. I think Facebook and that site is probably the best way. I also use Twitter, but Instagram very little. But I try to post some of the interviews I do on Facebook. Can't post them all, but every once, I post one every once in a while that I do.
Well, I loved your throwback picture of you and Bobby Braddock at Halloween. That was
Halloween.
I love that. You talk about one of my favorite songwriters. Oh, he was fantastic.
Isn't he amazing?
He is amazing.
If y'all haven't seen it, it's a few years ago we went to a Halloween party together. And the Halloween party it's a theme, to come dressed up as an artist, country. I thought, well, why not do a song? So I asked Bobby if he would do it, and he said yes. So we dressed up. I'm a widow and he's a dead man. So we went as He Stopped Loving Her Today.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Glenna sends her love to you, and I send my love to you, as we all do. And we really appreciate you being on with us on Circling the Drain, Shannon.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for asking me. And you tell Glenna I said hello. Love her to death.
I sure will.
And, thanks for asking me to be on here. And I still think that you need to get that new song as your theme song, Circling the Drain.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's a new song out.
Oh, really?
Called Circling the Drain, yes.
Oh,
so we'll probably have to check into that, definitely. But thanks again. It was sweet to have you, and I appreciate you doing this with us.
Thank you.
Thank you all. I love you.
We
Thank
love
you so
you
much.
too. And join us again on Circling the Drain.